I wonder why things that always used to work for us, for humanity, seem to start not working anymore, or are not working anymore at all. You know, when I thought about that, I started looking at my own upbringing, at my own history, at my own family. And I came across my grandparents, who were born around, 1910. And I thought, how did they grow up? What did they experience in their lives? What they definitely experienced in their lives was a lot of survival mode. They went through World War I and they went through World War II, which of course, undoubtedly was a situation of pure survival. So what they applied, and they got through these wars alive, so what they applied is a lot of survival mode behavior, because it worked. They had to apply survival mode behavior, and it did work. Otherwise they might not have survived, maybe. So, and their children, my parents, then were born, in the last years of the war or in the years after the war. What were they taught from their parents? Of course, they were taught what had worked for them. Survival mode techniques, survival mode behavior. So these kids were brought up basically in survival mode and how to behave in survival mode. Study, learn, become a good employee, become a good worker, make your career, bypass others, be better, be faster, go forward. And the job of this generation was to rebuild the whole society, rebuild the cities that were all destroyed, rebuild logistics, rebuild the infrastructure, and after everything has been rebuilt, to assure the survival on a broader scale, to secure the survival, by building up certain kind of welfare, building up welfare states, creating a big middle class, creating stability, creating security. And they did well with that. They kind of got there. Look at Europe, how Europe developed after World War II until the 1980s, 1990s. America probably had a little bit of an advantage because there was not so much to rebuild. But still, of course, there was a lot of effort to ensure and secure the survival. Make the pillows a little bit fatter. Have some savings. Have some, stock as options if times get worse. And what did these people do? They applied survival mode techniques. They applied survival mode living. So what did they teach my generation? What did they teach us, their children? Well, of course, they taught us what worked for them, which were survival mode habits, survival mode behaviors. Be better, be faster, be richer. That's all survival mode. Competition against each other, which I still was brought up with, except for maybe small entities, the family, friendships, but on a bigger scale, be better, be faster, be richer. And why? Because for the generation of my parents, it still worked. In my generation, I was taught these behaviors, but I didn't get the necessity as deep as my parents still got it, because there was not so much to rebuild. There was not so much to secure. But, the job of my generation still was, at least in the beginning, to make survival a little bit more comfortable. A little bit more, in your bank account, a little bit more as a reserve here and there, a little bit more convenient, which was also okay. But I think slowly, little by little, if you are in a survival situation, survival mode habits are the right thing to apply. But if the surviving situation is not your actual situation anymore, because you don't need to survive on an everyday basis, because there hasn't been a war just around the corner, everything is not destroyed to rebuild it. So if you're not in a survival situation anymore, but you get closer to a living situation, maybe survival mode behavior is not the right thing to apply. And maybe that's one of the problems between the different generations, because be better, be faster, be richer makes sense when you want to secure your survival, maybe the survival of your children and of their children, but it does not necessarily make sense at all in a good friendship with two lovers, when you're with each other. Because security in being with each other comes from being with each other and not being better than the other. That makes the with each other insecure. So I wonder if today we apply a lot of survival habits, a lot of survival behavior, to a situation that is not survival mode any longer, or not as much as it has been. Maybe we apply the right behaviors for a different situation to a new situation, which makes it the wrong behavior. A survival situation needs survival mode behavior. A living situation needs living mode behavior. And what if we are just changing from a long periods of survival mode into living mode situations? So survival mode behavior is not helpful anymore. Maybe it's even destroyful. Maybe it's even the wrong thing. Maybe it creates an outcome that does not fit to our situation anymore. If we have a huge planet and we see ourselves as very small, and we think we need to survive that planet, survival mode makes sense. If you have a planet that relatively is not that big anymore, but compared to us, starts to be really small, maybe the planet needs to survive us, and we need to create a living on that planet. So living needs living mode, and not the old habits of survival mode. Doesn't mean to disgrace them, because they were very helpful as long as the circumstances fit to it. But maybe as the circumstances change, we can get the change. We need to change our behavior. One nice little aspect, a nice little challenge is that with the old behaviors, survival mode behaviors, we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of training. With the new behaviors, living mode behaviors, we don't have a lot of experience and we don't have a lot of training. We don't even know, at least on a global scale, how to do that, how to behave there. We have to develop that. We have to get together and say, well, maybe a new situation, new problems need new solutions, new behaviors. How do we want to create that? How will that look like? How will that, kind of change our behavior with each other? And that's maybe the brink where we are right now, from survival mode to living mode, from against each other to with each other, from fear to community, or from fear to trust. And then to formulate the concrete actions, the concrete projects, how do we behave in that new paradigm that might be necessary for these times. And that's maybe the reasons why old paradigms and old habits just don't work anymore, and will cease to work within the next years, which we will see. Old behavior in a new world obviously doesn't work anymore. So we need new behavior in a new world to get along and to get into a future where we say we want to get.